Mrs. Fluffybottom padded gingerly out of the bushes where she was hiding and informed you all, in the first time you've ever heard her speak, that she didn't need your help, that she could have handled the dinosaurs on her own.
You're adorable! And Frosty goes over there and tries to pet Mrs. Fluffybottom.
Make a dexterity check.
15.
I haven't rolled yet. Plug your ears, guys.
La 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 la.
Oh! I didn't plug my ears. I didn't listen to the sign.
I took my headset off.
I keep putting up signs, and Nodal keeps not listening to them.
I just don't pay attention.
And you attempt to capture Jazzy Baba, but she eludes your grasp and just stares daggers at you. Like, how dare you presume to pick me up?
Yeah. And Ferocity gets out of her knees and she's like, "Aww."
To be clear, she doesn't look any different. She still looks like this mangy, half-chewed, just been to hell and back alley cat with no
sure, but
soul
she's
or goodwill.
very fierce.
I would think Kelian would have groomed her a few times. Cut her hair.
Yeah, but she lived in Sigil for more than 6 months.
That's true.
Everything comes out of there looking like shit.
We'll retcon it and say that Kelian has done that, as long as you're okay with losing use of one of your arms. Because she would have shredded.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense for your shooting.
Hashtag shots fired.
Oh,
No.
Hashtag rimshot.
Hashtag shots missed.
So right now, Jazzy Baba is just kind of sitting on the ground, her tail waving back and forth, and giving very unfriendly glances towards Ferocity, who she's not impressed with in the slightest.
Ferocity is very impressed.
Do you mind coming with us? We kind of need your help with something.
Kelian, at this point, has taken out a cigarette, lit it, and plopped his ass on the ground, crossing his arms.
And Mrs. Fluffybottom tells you that she's always detested the odor of those horrendous things.
Well, maybe you should have told me.
Do you want some GM covered fish?
Anyway,
you
Riot speaks
asked
the truth.
if she would come with you, and she says that she doesn't see what possible gain there is in accompanying you further into danger.
Well, the danger's all cleared out. There's no danger.
She asks if you were born ignorant or if you had to work really hard at it.
Oh, sweetie, I'm sure you can take care of us. You're a fierce hunter.
She asks whether any of you have even the slightest inkling of the level of just abject stupidity you are dealing with when it comes to the sorcerer Eldove.
It seems like he got himself into a bad situation.
He keeps dinosaurs as pets. It's not that bright. Bad pet.
She says that she's lived in Sigil long enough now, for which she shows no gratitude whatsoever, not even a little bit. That Kelian rescued her from the infinite staircase and brought her to a...
Well, I mean, that's fair. He brought her to Sigil.
Yeah.
But she says that she's lived in Sigil long enough to have seen just the army of fools that come prancing through its gates, dealing with powers they can't possibly imagine or hope to control. People in search of magical artifacts, or chasing down dead gods, or signing up for sorties in the Blood War. Just mortals getting swept up in impossibly large cosmic things. And she says none of them hold a candle to the idiot Eldove.
Because of what he wanted with the hut, or because of something else?
She asks you, well, she doesn't ask you. She condescendingly and somewhat sarcastically informs you, do you really think that the hut has a master?
It did once, didn't it?
Some old bat, I take it?
And Jazzy Baba pads over to the little pond and starts clawing at the fish therein. And she says, the hut is the master, and the master the slave. And it has always been thus. Every shape the hut's taken, before Baba Yaga and after her.
Baba Yaga didn't make the hut.
No.
Huh.
Were you part of the hut? Where did you come from?
And she just shoots back, where did you come from?
What made you decide to
I
leave
know
this?
I know where I came from. I can give you my lineage to 3 generations back at least.
She says that the hut destroyed Baba Yaga in the end. Just as the hut has destroyed Eldove, just as the hut will destroy this foolish, full of himself Yugoloth you all have dealings with now.
So you think there's nothing left of Eldove to save?
I refuse to believe that.
Somebody give me an insight check.
Me.
Go for it.
Go ahead, and
Someone's excited.
Go ahead and make this at advantage. I feel like throughout the campaign, you have gone out of your way to show compassion to this cat who didn't even realize that you existed for 70-something sessions. You
Right,
deserve
it's a
to make
cat.
this at advantage.
That is a 29. No. Wait. 29. I was right.
As Mrs. Fluffy Bottom is talking to you, you see that she's very sad about something, upset about something, and it's clearly not the loss of Baba Yaga or the predicament that Eldove is in. Something else is eating at her, for lack of a better word. Yeah, just wait till next campaign, DT, and when I take revenge for all of Mahogany's nonsense.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting out now.
It's like, I can't be there when that bomb goes off. But yeah, you sense that she's she's lost something. But it's definitely not about Baba Yaga or Eldove. You just don't see this cat making that kind of connection with another person.
Liberation looks at the cat and says, "So, what made you decide to leave the hut? How did you get from this place to the Infinite Staircase where they found you?"
And she says that the Sorcerer Fool sought to take permanent control of the hut, and in doing so, shook up too much of its structure. Too many rooms were changing or vanishing too quickly. And she darted through a door that she was familiar with, that she thought would take her to whatever room she was headed towards. But in that moment, in that one instant, ended up being an exit from the hut.
Nice.
And how long between then and when you found Kelian here? Any idea?
And then she responds, her mouth with half-chewed fish. How dare you ask a lady's age?
I'm just trying to get a sense of the time frame. I mean, time is weird on the plains. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Make an insight check. You don't get advantage because Liberation's never cared about this cat.
Exactly. 20.
20. On the subject of how much time has passed, or like anything about the nature of the planes that you guys are savvy to, she's masking her own ignorance with attacks. She doesn't know how long it's been, and she doesn't know anything about the planes.
Liberation calls her out on it. You don't know, do you? You've been wandering for who knows how many years, days, months, years, who knows how long you were wandering.
Would you prefer to live here rather than Sigil? I mean, and like Riot Motion's kind of like around here. Like at least here you got all the fish you could want. It's kind of a nice place in this room.
Yeah, if you ignore the dinosaurs that were chewing on me.
Yeah, I was. Thanks.
I like to think
You
Riot
just flew.
I think Riot said that while she's currently sitting on one of the dead dinosaurs. And Baba Yaga looks around and she says that this room was once made of cushions instead of trees. That the sardines swam through the air instead of through the water. And that there was a pool of good heavy cream instead of water. She very clearly blames Eldove for this horrific
That's
crime.
it. That's the thing. That's
Yeah,
all this other shit has just been masking. That's the real problem here.
Okay, I'll make you a deal. What's your name? What should I call you?
And she, again, shoots daggers at Kelian and says anything but Mrs. Fluffy Bottom.
All right, rat.
Ferocity 2. The sequel.
Surely you've had a name.
All right, Princess. Princess, this is the deal I'll give to you. You help us with this. You help us with this the spell that we need to cast to get deeper into the hut, and I'll give you back your room every day for 2 weeks.
Make a persuasion check at advantage because you called her princess. I don't know if this came up in the original adventure. It actually it just says that Jazzy Baba is very accepting of flattery and gifts. It's really easy to manipulate her.
That's how we got through the first time.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
there's-
How does a 34 do?
A 34.
Let me know if that's not up to snuff, because I can put some juice on that.
Riot's got some.
She
Wow.
seems very hesitant. You can tell that she wants to say yes, but something's stopping her. And then finally she says, "But what good are cushions and cream if in the end it's all consumed in flames?"
Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to separate Eldove out from the hut, and then the hut won't be on fire anymore.
And she observes that the lot of you have ventured to the plane of fire. And that there you found flames that burned not 1/10 as hot as the heart of this hut now does.
Well, I mean, there's diminishing returns on fire.
So what is your what's the actual idea here? Like, you're going to cast a magnificent mansion for her?
Yeah, and every day for 2 weeks, so, or however long we decide on, we agree on.
And
I'll live in the dumb room that she wants. It sounds all right, lots of cushions. I can live there for a while.
Wasn't there also like a room of chew toys and things?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And
Does
and
Riot
dead animals on the walls, like dog heads and shit.
Oh yeah, that's right. God, she's a bitch. Do you make that offer with the knowing for sure that you can't cast that spell in the hut?
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's part of the deal, is like, you help us with this thing, and then once we're gone, you can have your room back for a while.
She asks why you need her help to reach the lowest level of the hut. As she recalls, even the Sorcerer Fool and his brain-dead companions were able to reach level 3 on their own without much more than a tiny push from her.
The hut's changed. The only way we have now is the spell that the Modron gave us. Then it needs one of the people who was there when Eldove took it over, and that, as far as we can tell, the only one person here is you.
And at that, you see her eyes narrow. This is clearly new information to her.
The hut knows you're extremely important.
That's true.
That's why we need your help.
And then she says that she recollects a time when Eldove and some of his companions redoubled their effort to completely clear the hut out of its denizens. All of the prisoners were released, monsters were slayed, gates were opened artificially with great difficulty on the part of Eldove and the Onion Man.
Onion
and
Man,
then she
who's the
spent that
Onion Man?
entire time eluding them. They devoted a lot of resources to track her down inside of the hut and failed to do so. And it sounds like they did this so he could try to exert a level of control over the hut that was unprecedented.
And Riot will say, well, he should have listened to you. You were smarter than him, I think.
She says that she'll aid you in reaching level 3, but that she will not accompany you into the flames.
That's fine.
That's
we don't need to do. I mean, it would be better. Certainly, would be helpful if you did, but we'll try to manage without you.
Guess we'll just muddle on through, eh?
Frosty elbows Kelian.
What?
And then when he looks over, she makes little cat motions with her hands.
What? You want to be my replacement pet now? Is that it?
Oh, I could never.
So what's next?
Are we able to use that scroll from anywhere? Does it have to be from that little library of keys?
The scroll is it's just a standard spell scroll of teleportation. It's just got that one little caveat attached to it.
Okay.
It's as though the spell has a material component that it shouldn't have.
Yeah. Riot will ask if people are ready to go, or do we need to rest first?
Liberation looks down at his arms and chest and torso, which are still bloody from the from being the dinosaur chew toy. Looks at Riot, says, "Yeah, I could use a break."
Well, wait.
Mm-hmm.
We've only got the one shot with that scroll, right?
I can teleport if we need to.
Well, that's the thing.
But I would need to rest before I could.
Teleport?
No, he could cast his own teleport spell as long as he has Jazzy Baba with him.
Though I have expended all my high valencies, so we would need to rest if we need to teleport today. but I'd be fine with a short rest too.
Yeah, let's take a little rest.
Elsewhere, preferably.
And the cat criticizes you all for your laziness.
I liked you better when you didn't talk.
I mean,
She says the feeling is mutual.
she's used to mere mortals not appreciating her wit. When she's reestablished in the hut, she's going to tell everybody about this pet Aasimar she used to have.
That sounds about right.
So where are you guys
John's
taking a
Bob is
rest?
Dancing hut.
Are you hunkering down here in the woods?
No.
Probably not. Probably not in Dinosaur Land.
So Jazzy Baba climbs back up Kelian and digs her claws into his shoulder so she doesn't have to walk anywhere.
Ferocity takes the opportunity to pet her while she's in one place.
Where does
Ow!
Kelian
Ow!
No.
Ow!
That just makes her
No,
run
Frosty,
circles
no,
around her
no,
around Kelian's
No!
neck. Like,
I'm opening up Nodal's map again, so I can remember where Q and R go to. But it's so tiny that I can't see it.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like Jazzy Baba is Kelian is the hut to Jazzy Baba. So
I never seen you dance.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. Q looks alright. Where's R?
R is the floating pool or the waiting pool, whatever. The pool with the creature in it.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
let's not go there.
That's
Let's
negative.
let's go back to Q because that had a bunch of little guest rooms and things. I think it's on the other map though.
let me double check my own notes here. So you're going out that north exit is your queue?
Yeah, and that brings us to all the storage rooms. It looks like.
Yep, that's where that goes.
That might not be a bad place.
Yeah, it seems alright.
Well, last time you came through this room, you had to fight a random encounter.
That's true, but if we just go into one of the rooms, it might not be a patrol.
Okay.
Hunger down.
Which of the rooms?
Also-
I remember this, like not this one certainly, because that's that.
That had the explodey door.
Yeah. The rest of these, let me check my.
How about the bedroom?
Oh, was this a bed? That's right. This was a bedroom.
That
Yeah,
was
let's
a
go there.
wardrobe, I thought.
Yeah, it's a wardrobe.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
That's where
That's
all
fine.
of Eldo's dresses were stored.
Yeah. There
Yeah,
was
that's
cleaning
fine.
supplies. There was a food pantry up here,
Mhm.
and then I don't have any notes on what these two were.
C is like an armory,
Yeah.
and then F is the preserved organic materials, organs, and jars.
If we're passing through C, I'll pick up some bolts.
What was
E is trade goods.
Yes.
Trade goods, okay.
Firewood,
Let's-
straw, boxes.
the wardrobe seems like the safest place to be.
Yeah, you can swing by into C and pick up replenish bolts and arrows and things. Most of the weapons in this room, they look too small to be effectively wielded by humans, but I mean crossbows are crossbows. So
Yeah.
what's being done to secure that door, Nath?
I was about to say that's a math problem.
Yeah, I was just gonna put an alarm here in each of these chambers.
Okay.
Here and here and here and here.
It's a ritual.
And you taking a long or short rest?
A short rest.
All right, go ahead and take the benefits of a short rest. Spend your hit dice if you need to.
Burn some hit dice.
Riot is fine.
I
Why
have
didn't you
2
guys spend the
damage,
whole-
so.
Combat flying.
I will. I will at least play the Song of Rest, so everyone can have an extra. I don't know what it is anymore.
Probably D12.
Might just be a D10. I think that goes separately from the Bardic Inspiration.
To be honest, it's a 1 HP difference.
Yeah, really. Song of Rest. Yeah, D10s. So
10's all around.
everyone can have an extra. Oh, a 10. Hey, I rolled a max.
Oh, you rolled. All right.
Lovely.
Only if you spend at least one hit die, though.
Yeah.
Which I did. Wow, that's. I got the maximum. I spent 1 die. I got an 8 and a 10 on the roll. Well, I'm back up to full.
See, I need to spend 2 more, I think. All depends on how I roll.
So you need like 5 more.
Well, the thing is, I have a feat that makes my basically I can't roll lower than a 2 on these rolls.
Oh, okay.
But I've been rolling like 3s. Yeah. Wait, no, that becomes a 2. That's, yeah, that one becomes a 2. So 7, 9. Yeah. 2 more.
Called it.
And the rest is more or less uneventful. None of the alarms go off during that time.
Hey, there we
What's
go.
next?
That'll put me up to full. Burn half my hit dice to do it, but
Oh, don't worry.
you use
There's
the
more
other half for
dinosaurs
it.
on level 3.
Only they're on fire.
Say they're fire dinosaurs.
I didn't realize we were going to metal album cover land.
All right, well, everyone gather around Riot.
Yeah, right. We'll read the scroll when everyone's ready.
And as Nath... Oh, Riot's reading the scroll?
Yeah.
Okay. And as Riot's reading the scroll, I mean, Kelian, you just feel her claws deeper and deeper. And the rest of you just watch Kelian wince all the more. And... make sure I get the right spot here. You all arrive right here, inside the teleportation circle.
Us who've already been to part of this level, huh?
Seems that way.
I legit forgot that was a thing.
What's this asshole doing here? Thank you.
This room looks like the back room of a tap house. You've got casks of ale and wine lined up along one wall, some various sundries lined up along the other. Right along here, you see a little alcove, but you can only see it sort of hazily. It's like you're looking through like a wall of fog or smoke, and it's difficult to make out details, but something very, very unsettling about it. Like something, I mean, all of you except Kelian, when you gaze in that direction, like the hairs on the back of your neck kind of stand up, and Kelian doesn't feel that because he's got a cat up there.
He feels cat claws in his neck instead.
His neck has bigger problems. To the south, between the this room and the room beyond, is a drawn curtain, and on the other side of that curtain, you can hear the sounds of like quiet conversation, the clinking of glasses and cutlery and such.
All right. Well, if it's a choice between this curtain and this curtain, I know which one I want to go to.
Nath will poke his staff over the circle. It's not a binding circle.
It's a teleport circle.
Yeah, it's a teleportation circle.
So you can put a circle of protection around a teleport circle.
Okay.
That's how you bind
Who would-
things.
Who would do that, Nath?
Nath would do that. Right says.
Yeah. Nath would absolutely do that.
And once you guys are in this room and there's no immediate danger and the sounds here are somewhat familiar and non-threatening, Kelian, you feel the claws retract from your neck, and the cat leaps to one of the shelves and curls up there comfortably for now.
All right. We'll see you later, princess.
Thanks.
Kelian doesn't say anything.
Everyone sees purple beads of blood welling up on Kelian's neck and shoulders.
Purple? That's a crappy color.
Purple's a great color. What are you talking about?
Not for blood.
So
I'm
what's
going to
it?
listen to this curtain and see if I can understand anything that's being said on the other side.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Uh, 27.
You don't understand anything that's being said, and it's very perplexing for a moment. But you have some experience with this, with your throwing parties in your magnificent mansion, with your little servants and whatnot. This is what you would hear if you just wanted to create the din of conversation without
Okay.
actually having substance to the words. You think that this is a magical construct.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell the others. I don't think there's actually anybody on the other side. And I'll go through the curtain.
Okay.
Yep. Same.
So there are shelves
Same.
in this room?
Along this wall here, there are shelves with various sundries on it. And then the other wall has lined up casks of ales and wines and spirits. Coming to the curtain, you do in fact enter into a not a very lavish tap room, but a comfortable looking one. The kind that you wouldn't find in Sigil. There are tables situated around, and all of the denizens of the place, people sitting at tables enjoying meals and conversation, you can see through them. They're transparent, like ghosts. Except for a man sitting at this table here, is a giant humanoid, like a human-sized owl. And he's dressed in finery, like a noble's finery, and he seems to be waiting impatiently. And he is definitely not transparent.
Rick, would you say that these are quasi-real patron-like creatures?
Yeah, I would absolutely say that.
Are we hearing like the background sound in like a video game when you walk into a tavern?
And when you listen very carefully, you can hear the loop.
Yeah, exactly.
But the owl sitting at this table, I mean, he can't turn his neck the way that humans do. They kind of turn on their side all the way around, and it freaks everybody out. So he kind of moves his whole body in your direction as he notices you. Kind of startle him as you come through the curtain.
So
I
that's
thought
like
that's
a bad
specifically
owl.
a thing owls can do. Is just turn their heads all the way
Oh yeah,
around.
owls can turn their head completely around,
They can, but it's like
like 180.
it has like 2 axes of motion, though. Like you can go around, but they can also like go sideways, way farther than you would think.
Is that what we're getting here? Like, is he doing cool owl shit with his head?
He's one of those owls with a weird shaped face that's like a big face-sized ear. They use their entire face to hear. Animals are weird, dude.
Yeah. Right. Are there empty spaces at his table?
Yes, but only 3.
I'll
I'm
go sit
heading
down
up.
with him.
I'm fucking sitting down at one.
Okay.
Cause that was great.
And he welcomes you to sit, but he tells you, or warns you rather, that the service in this establishment is atrocious.
Are there
Grins.
goblets or anything over here with the taps?
Yeah, you can find not like ornate chalices, but like wooden mugs.
Nath will just call out, "All right, who's having what?"
And yeah, Riot will say to the owl man, "Don't worry, we brought our own servant.
I'll have whatever.
Wine, please."
Bring me a lot of different types.
And he
And I'll
introduces
start casting Unseen Servant as a ritual.
Okay. He introduces himself as Bibus.
Aw.
Hello,
And
Bibus.
he would have your names and news.
I'm Ferocity.
Liberation.
Right.
So are you a guest of
he says that those are remarkable names that have immediate and forceful meaning. I commend you all.
Bibus is a really good name too. I just want to make sure you know that.
He keeps glancing over at this door as he's conversing with you, kind of expectedly.
So, are you a guest of the of Mr. Eldove as well?
And he says that he's never heard of Mr. Eldove, but if he's the unseen proprietor of this establishment, then by God, he will have words.
Oh, believe me, we're looking for him to have words with him as well.
Kelian is curious about the booze that's over here on the shelf and the place where Mrs. whatever we're calling her, Princess,
Just
has taken up residence.
various supplies laid out for the evening meals. Salted beefs, dried vegetables, various kinds of spices, bags of flour and grain, that sort of thing.
I'll ask Bipus how long you've been waiting to be served here.
And he looks around and tells you that he's watched as every other guest has received food and drink in the time that he's been waiting. It's been several hours, if not years.
Why are you waiting?
That's a sentence.
Those two time periods are really close to each other.
Liberation, you ask why is he waiting?
Then why are you waiting?
He says it's his job. He's a food critic.
Ah,
That he wouldn't be doing his due diligence if he left this establishment without partaking of the meal.
well, I mean, of all the things I could have expected to come out of your mouth, I wasn't expecting that. Bravo, sir.
Ferocity leans real forward and then just puts her head on two hands. She's having a real good time with Bibus.
Nath, you're back there drawing spirits, and as you fill the mugs, you get a very heady aroma of how strong these spirits are. Make an Arcana check.
12.
12. I have to ask, Riot,
Mhm.
all the parties you've thrown in your magnificent mansion, have you ever skimped on the booze?
Nah.
Okay. There is
Man,
very
that would be
strong...
a real dick move to have a magnificent mansion and summon subpar alcohol.
Yeah, also, Riot's a rock star who are not known for, like, skimping on any substance.
So she's like, all right, guys, here's the Coronas, and I filled them all with cocaine.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nath, you're drawing mugs of spirits back here, and they all have an enchantment on them of some kind. And you're familiar with the enchantment because it's the same thing Riot does to make her food not flavorless.
Basically cantrip, but, more specific to food, like stronger.
It's some kind of magic to give the booze presentation that it doesn't necessarily have. Like Riot summons this very flavorless food. Then what spell do you use? Is it Prestidigitation?
Yeah.
The world's greatest spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but although it's worth noting Riot doesn't do that anymore because I don't have that spell anymore.
Well, you got the Magnificent Mansion now. You get all the chicken wings you want.
Exactly, and they all smell good without me having, or smell good, taste good, without me having to do anything about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll bring the booze over, set it down. I'll ask Liberation to take a look at that for me. And no one drink just yet.
Turn on detect magic.
Oh, too late. Ferocity's already drinking.
And Ferocity, as even before Liberation's able to use his instant class ability,
Yeah.
it's just water you're drinking.
I was using my faction ability.
And it's not even like good tasting water because you've had the jelly. So
Frosty's just like, man, the service here really is terrible.
yeah, Liberation. This is all of the drinks that Nath has brought out have a layer of enchantment magic on them.
Yep, that is definitely what it is. Liberation says.
And then Ferocity can confirm it's just water that's enchanted to look and smell like powerful booze.
Why would you bother to make it look and smell like booze, but not taste like booze? What is wrong with Eldove?
Liberation takes one of the bugs and then knocks a sip back.
And Bybus clinks his glass with Ferocities when she says what's wrong with Eldove.
Ferocity looks upset.
He asks what brings the lot of you here.
Nath will take a shot glass, prestidigitation it to make it taste like whiskey, and offer it to Ferocity.
Ferocity takes it.
And it's just not as good as that jam.
Like, it's alright, but it's just... I've had better whiskey jam.
It's like whiskey that's been watered down with very foul tasting jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bybus asked what brings you all here.
I'm trying to find,
We've
as
come-
I said before.
To complain to the manager.
Yeah. It's about the long and short of it.
He asks if you've seen the manager. If you know how
Not
to summon
yet.
him.
We're looking for him.
We got a picture of him at the very least.
Have you been out of any and Riot points around any of these doors looking for him? Or have you just been at the table?
He has, actually.
Uh,
Give me one
Well, I mean, I
second
was-
here
okay.
to get my notes situated. I did that thing where I opened the wrong note text file.
Of course you did.
Because apparently I need to have 2 different documents in 2 different folders, both named Eldove Stupid Hut.
Let me guess, your notepad file that just gives you recent files open and just the file and not the directory it's in?
Yeah, basically.
Nice.
I've always had to search for mine. I can't find... I have no idea where I put Ferocity spell list.
I have 2 totally separate and unique directories labeled document/D&D/Planescape. So, I can't keep any of my shit straight. Which door do you ask about?
Riot's going to point to the nearest one, this one.
That one, and he says as far as he can tell, that's the door that goes back to the kitchen.
Okay.
While they're talking, Nath is going to go around each of the doors, verify that it's unlocked, and that it has a portal behind it.
Which door do you go to first?
The one I'm standing next to.
Okay. So there are actually 4 doors to this room, and there's this staircase leading down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nath, opening that door, it opens out into like a crossroads. Like in any standard prime material world. Daylight, there's a nice well-beaten path with wheel ruts in the road, grass, trees, a nice breeze, and a path leading off into the distance.
I'll stick my arm out the door.
And it feels nice and cool out there, like it's recently rained.
Looks a bit like the preserve. Looks like there's a big chunk of actual space in here, not just a room.
And Bybus confirms that if you take that road south, for half a day's leisurely march, you will arrive at the village of Sasila.
Think the hut ate an entire village?
No, I think that's just an exit.
I wouldn't put it
Oh.
past the hut, though.
That's true.
But, yeah, that seems fairly likely. 'Cause didn't the cat say that he's been fiddling with opening portals all over the damn place?
Yeah, the cat said the doors were all screwed up and that at least one of them must have led to the staircase at one point.
So this might be that result here, right here.
So that's the kitchen. That's the exit. Riot points out to the east door. Where does that one go?
You're asking Bybus this?
Yeah.
He says he presumes that goes to a stairwell leading to the second floor and to the rooms available.
And this one goes down, right? The staircase goes down?
That staircase goes down.
Yeah.
And
What's
I mean,
happening in the basement?
Going
In the
down
basement?
into the cellar is beneath a critic of Bybus's standing.
Okay. And I'll just ask him about the only door left, the west one.
Can't believe you.
He says he hasn't seen that door opened, and nobody's gone through it.
Okay.
Just go over and we'll close the front door, go over and open it.
And it's a black pane, just like you're used to.
Nath will sort of turn back and nod. Yeah, portal.
What about the kitchen one?
Excuses herself for a second and goes to the kitchen one.
And again, you open up the door, he says goes to the kitchen, and it's a black pane. It definitely goes somewhere.
Okay.
What about this one?
And you open it, and it's another black pane. Definitely goes somewhere.
Hey, Bobus, don't go through any of the doors.
Let's go
He says-
downstairs.
Yeah.
he wouldn't be able to anyway because his food has yet to arrive.
Yeah, that's a good plan. All right, later.
Good luck.
Wait. Let's not go down. Let's serve Bibus first. I mean, the guy's been waiting for a long time.
What?
Well, Nath just went to the trouble of casting Unseen Servant to get some food. Let's serve the man.
Riot, we can't. That would be really messed up to do. He would just be criticizing us, not the restaurant. It would be
knows-
unethical of him to do that.
He knows we didn't prepare the food.
Okay, if we give him the food, he's going to want to leave afterwards. And who knows
So?
where he'll go then.
He's not a fiend. Who cares where he goes? I want to give the man his food. He's been here for
Oh.
too long. Let's sit down with him and eat.
Now we have to sit down with him and eat.
Why?
I mean, is there?
So
I only saw the
Why be so
taps. Was there
antisocial
also
about this,
food
Kelian?
in this back chamber?
Yeah, if you go into the past the curtain and look left, there's a wall full of food.
I'm gonna grab like a piece of bread and taste it.
Hey, and it's just it has the feel and consistency of bread, but it's very flavorless.
It's fud.
It's fud.
I'll order the servant to whip up a meal made of fud.
And while
I
you're
wouldn't get your hopes up.
while you're playing around with the bread, you start hearing whispers from the northern wall, that fog bank, just whispering, "Help us, Nath. Free us."
Kelian, of all the absurd things that we've done together, this is the one that you balk at, sitting down to talk to a nice gentleman over a meal?
Hey, Liberation,
What?
come over here, please.
What am I, a dog? Okay.
Just want to get out of this hut, okay?
Well, you have a nose for magic, so not quite a bloodhound. But
Nose?
what do you see behind the curtain? And I'll point to the shadows.
Does my nose really look that weird?
The curtain, like I said, this like wall of fog, it's not opaque, but you're not able to see through it. It's like you're looking through a pane of illusion. But when Nath points it out to you, you start hearing the voices as well. Liberation, we're in pain. You must free us.
Liberation, like you Nath sees Liberation's knee start to bounce just a little bit.
Nath will nod. Do you see any magics on that smoke?
Detect magic back up.
And it's very strong necromancy.
This is bad mojo.
Riot's chatting with Bibus about so what's the best place you ever eaten at? What was your favorite meal?
And I mean, he lists off typical owl stuff. You know, he's partial to eating live hares, etc.
Mm-hmm. Why do they serve that?
Liberation turns it down and says, "Okay,
Hey, Bobus, have you ever had some jam-covered fish?
Liberation says what?
exactly."
I mean, I could hit it with a dispel, but I think at this point we're best exploring the rest of the hut and dealing with this later. Not entirely sure what it's containing or what it's holding back.
Yeah, that's.
I definitely don't trust it.
I don't trust it either, especially given the mojo I've seen on that thing.
Be careful about the shadows. It seems to try and talk into your mind to convince you to do something about it. They're necromantic, according to Liberation.
And what I want to know is
What does
how
it
they
sound
know our
like?
name.
So let's hear Liberation's best impression of the shadows.
Ferocity, help us, free us, ferocity.
Oh, I want to hear that for myself.
Riot, I have good news and bad news.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is you now know the names of several establishments that serve an excellent live hare.
Nice.
The bad news is none of them are in Sigil.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's too bad.
I'm just making conversation with this guy.
And you find it to be a very pleasant, if like a very affable, if somewhat. He's not the largest mind in the room. I'll put it that way. He thinks very highly of himself, but he's not very knowledgeable on a lot of things.
What's
Other
his
than
wisdom
that-
score?
Owl.
Pretty high.
But Ferocity, you absolutely, when you step in the room, you start hearing from the fog. Ferocity, please. There's no escape. You must help us. We can't get out.
So we've got Owl Guy here, and we've got stairs going down here, and it's just other semi-transparent patrons at tables in here, conversations.
Yeah, the other table you just see kind of the ghostly visages of kind of adventurers coming in after a long day of slaying orcs and what have you. Ghostly barmaids rushing back and forth with ghostly mugs of ghostly ale.
Right, still waiting for this food. Calls back to the kitchen. Hey, servers!
I mean, I told the servant to do it. It should.
Oh yeah,
At this point,
if you
I've done
command the server to bring food, he will. He brings out the salted pork and bread that were on the shelf, and
Yeah, no, I told the unseen servant to do that when I started hearing the voices.
oh okay, yeah. Then in that case, the servant puts together a nice looking plate and brings one out for Riot and one out for Bibus,
Okay. Right, digs in.
and it's Fud.
Yeah. She casts prestidigitation on Bibus's and hers after the first bite. Trying to give
Right,
it
you take us to the worst restaurants.
a little bit of that smoked mouse flavor that Bibus said he really likes.
And after every very deliberate bite, Bibus takes careful notes in a book, a little parchment that he carries around.
And Riot says, "All right, now that you're served, excuse me a second." She goes back to the other room.
Ferocity reaches over as soon as she's gone and takes some of her food.
This portal's probably tied to the ghosts in the other room somehow.
Close the curtain.
And close the curtain, and when you're all coming in the room together and standing there, you don't hear anything.
I thought you said there were some whispers here. Wasn't there supposed to... And Riot leans real close here and listens.